Good evening. Welcome to World News. I am Wisdom Onisi. First, the headlines. Nigerian economic hardship. Tinubu reassures Nigerian as he swore in 7 new ministers. World first wooden satellite launched into space. Voting begins in U.S. presidential election. Trump and Harris face off as voters consider key issues. And on sport, Djokovic withdraws from. Now the news in details. President Bola Tinubu assured Nigerians on Monday that despite the current challenges, the country's ship will not sink, urging new cabinet members to stay focused and resilient in the face of inevitable criticism. At the swearing-in ceremony of 7 new ministers, he emphasized that his administration is committed to tackling the nation's economic and security challenges head-on. Tinubu acknowledged the rise in living costs, but assured that the government is addressing the issues, including reducing debt servicing from 97% to 65% of revenue, while maintaining a strong commitment to its obligation. He also praised the National Assembly for swiftly confirming the new ministers and urged them to serve with dedication in the pursuit of economic recovery and prosperity. Among the new appointees, Ambassador Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, now Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, expressed her commitment to the government foreign policies focusing on democracy development and leveraging the African Continental Free Trade Area to enhance Nigeria's economic potential. She highlighted the importance of Nigeria's youth demographic and the vast opportunities within the diaspora. Similarly, Minister of Trade and Investment Jumoke Oduwole expressed the need for business climate reforms to optimize the AFCFTA and attract both domestic and foreign investment while assuring that trade policies align with fiscal goals to create productive jobs. Both ministers echoed the president's vision of harnessing Nigerian full economic potentials in the face of global challenges. Away from that, we will have you know that on Tuesday, the Federal High Court in Abuja dismissed the charges against 119 end bad governance protesters who had been arraigned earlier this month. The protesters, charged with treason felony, inciting mutiny, and other offences, were brought to court in 2 groups, 76 individuals, including 32 minors in the first batch and 43 in the second. The case was struck out after MD Abubakar, counsel for the Attorney General of Federation, filed the application to take over and discontinue the proceedings. Justice Obiora Ogwatu ruled in favor of discontinuing the matter, bringing an end to the charges against the protesters. We also have you know that a 2-story building under construction in Ebelu, Mbaraja, area of Ogorogoro, River State, collapsed on Monday, killing 1 worker and severely injuring another. The incident occurred around 2 p.m. when the building, which had been constructed with substandard materials, gave way while workers were on the 2nd floor. The deceased, identified as Odome from Akwa Ibom State, was crushed in the collapse, while another worker narrowly escaped death but sustained serious injuries. Eyewitnesses blamed the disaster on poor construction materials such as low-quality rods and insufficient cement, as well as inadequate support like the lack of central pillar in the decking. In response to the tragedy, the Rivers State Commissioner for Physical Planning, Evans Popi, visited the site, ordered it sealed, and declared the developer wanted for negligence. Popi condemned the use of substandard materials, and the failure to obtain proper government approval for the construction. He warned that the government will take strong action against anyone building without approval, stressing that the developer would face severe consequences. The state also expressed sympathy to the victim's family and vowed to hold those responsible accountable, with Commissioner Samuel Aya condemning the prioritization of the profit over safety. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of Africa. A lightning strike at the Palabek refugee settlement in northwestern Uganda has killed 13 children and 1 adult. The victims were attending a church service when the strike occurred. Another 34 people were injured in the incident. The settlement, which houses over 80,000 refugees, has recently experienced heavy rains, thunder and lightning. The adult victims was 21 years old, according to Ugandan police spokesperson Kituma Rusoke, although the ages of the children have not been disclosed. This tragic event follows a similar lightning strike 4 years ago in Arua, which killed 10 children during a football game. Many of the refugees at the Palabek are from South Sudan, as reported by the UN Refugee Agency. Away from that, a tragic incident occurred in Port Shepstone over the weekend when a South African police officer was killed and another injured after a colleague mistakenly opened fire during the operation. The incident took place as 8 public order police officers and Port Shepstone K-19 unit, 9 units, responded to a domestic violence call. During a tactical maneuver, a stun grenade was deployed in one of the rooms. A female officer, misinterpreting the situation, believed her team was under attack and discharged her rifle, resulting in the death of one officer and injuries to another, according to police minister spokesperson Kamogelo Mokotsi. Police Minister Zenchol Machunu has called for caution in such operations and confirmed that the Independent Police Investigative Directorate is conducting full investigation into the circumstances of the incident. He stressed the importance of the investigation to provide clarity, ensure accountability, and learn valuable lessons to prevent future tragedies. Now we move to other parts of the world. After this break, please stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of the world. The world's first wooden satellite, LickNoSat, launched on SpaceX rocket as part of a resupply mission to the International Space Station, developers from Kyoto University announced on Tuesday. Designed to potentially reduce environmental and telecommunication impact, LickNoSat is made from wooden materials that are expected to burn up upon re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, avoiding the creation of harmful metal particles. The small box-like satellite measures like just 10 cm on each side and was launched from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida aboard an unmanned rocket. Once it reaches the ISS, the satellite will be released into the space about a month later to test its durability and resistance to extreme conditions. Data set back from the satellite will help researchers evaluate its strength and ability to withstand temperature changes. Darko Doi, an astronaut and Kyoto University professor, emphasized that non-metal satellites could become more common in the future, offering more sustainable alternative to traditional space technology. The launch was confirmed successful by Sumitomo Forestry, the satellite co-developer. Let's also have you know that voting has officially begun in the United States, with former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris competing for the presidency. Harris has focused her campaign on advocating for abortion rights and pledging to reduce food and housing costs for working families, while Trump has promised to strengthen border security and implement massive tax cuts worth trillions of dollars. In addition to selecting a new president, Americans are also voting for members of the U.S. Congress, and several states are holding referendum on abortion rights. This election is shaping up to be pivotal, with major implications for both national policies and local issues. Still on the news, we have that India has officially taken a major step forward, hosting the 23rd 36 Olympics and Paralympic Games by submitting a letter of intent to the International Olympic Committee's future host commission. This submission follows several informal discussions between the India and the IOC and India Olympic Association, formally presenting the letter on October 1st. According to a source, in India's Sport Ministry, hosting the Olympics would bring significant benefits, including economic growth, social progress, and youth empowerment across the country. Away from that, up next is business. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
This is Hills.
Welcome back. Now to business news. Jumoke Oduwole, Nigeria's newly appointed Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, has pledged to ensure the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is fully leveraged to benefit the country. Speaking after her swearing-in ceremony by President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa Abuja, Oduwole emphasized the need to reverse Nigeria's trade policies to create competitive job opportunities for the country's growing youth population. She also outlined her commitment to meeting expectations in the sector, strengthened the importance of performance appraisals to achieve set targets, and ensure that the AFCFTA contributes effectively to Nigeria's economic growth. However, international businesses at the 2024 Lagos International Trade Fair raised concern about Nigerian struggles in implementing the AFCFTA, citing ongoing border inefficiencies and currency devaluation as significant hurdles. Exhibitors noted that custom delays and high trade costs, particularly in cross-border transactions, have hindered trade within the continent, despite recent improvement such as better custom clearance for some businesses. Stakeholders lamented that the benefit of FCTA, were not fully realized at the borders. In response, Oduwole's ministry highlighted ongoing reforms aimed at reducing trade barriers, attracting foreign investment, and supporting export initiatives to improve the trade environment in Nigeria. Still on business news, the dollar weakened on Tuesday as traders adjusted their position ahead of a closely contested U.S. presidential election. Options volatility sparked after recent polling viewed Democrat Kamala Harris gaining ground, with her odds improving in betting platforms. Though Republican Donald Trump remained favored on the other, like the poly markets, financial markets had previously favored on a Trump victory due to his inflationary policies, which pushed up U.S. Treasury yields and supported the dollar. However, a surprise poll showing Harris with a lead in Iowa, a traditionally Republican state, contributed to the dollar's decline. As a result, the dollar remained mostly flat against a basket of currencies, while traders rushed to hedge against potential currency volatility, particularly in the euro and Mexican peso. With the election outcome uncertain, implied options volatilities soared, hitting its highest level since the Brexit referendum in 2016. Traders are bracing for significant market movement depending on the result, especially if vote counting is delayed or contested. The euro rose modestly, and the pound also saw a slight increase. Analysts predict the dollar could fall if Harris wins, while Trump victory could cause a more substantial rise in the greenback. Meanwhile, Bitcoin surged by 2.2% as Trump policies are viewed as more favorable for cryptocurrencies. The week is further complicated by the U.S. Federal Reserve's policy meeting on Thursday, where expectations of a rise cut could add to market uncertainty, alongside central bank meeting in the UK, Sweden, and Norway. We also have that iron ore future rose on Tuesday to their highest levels in over 2 weeks, driven by growing optimism over potential stimulus measure from China, the world's top consumer. The most traded January iron ore contract on the Dalian Commodity Exchange closed 2.53% higher at 191 yuan, that is $111.33 per ton, reaching a section high of 798 yuan. Similarly, the benchmark December iron ore on the Singapore Exchange gained 1.09%, settling at $105.5 per ton. Market sentiment was boosted after Chinese lawmakers reviewed a bill to raise local government debt ceilings, a move seen as a step forward addressing economic growth challenges. Analysts anticipated that China's National People's Congress Standing Committee may unveil fiscal stimulus measures soon, with reports suggesting new debt issuance to tackle local government debt and boost economic activity. In addition to iron ore, other steel-making materials saw gains, with coking coals and coke rising 1.57% and 1.97% respectively. Most steel benchmark on the Shanghai Futures Exchange also announced with rebel up to 1.3% and hot wood coil climbing 1.0%. However, analysts at Galaxy Futures remained cautious about the impact of expected fiscal measures on steel demand, noting that even if introduced, they are likely to focus on debt reduction, bank capital replenishment, and consumption rather than directly boosting steel production. Despite the positive sentiment from China's economic activity, particularly in reserves and manufacturing, the outlook for steel demand remains uncertain. Still to come is sport. Please stay with us. Welcome back now to Sport News. Asisat Oshola has made history with BFC in the National Women's Soccer League by helping the expansion team record the most wins in an inaugural regular season. BFC, based in San Francisco, secured 11 wins from 26 matches, finishing 7th in the regular season with 34 points. This performance earned him a playoff spot where they will face Washington Spirit on November 10, 2024. Oshola, who joined BFC after leaving FC Barcelona, scored 7 goals to finish 13th on the league scorer chart. BFC, which began its NWSL journey in 2024, plays at 18,000 capacity Play Pal Park in San Jose, California, home to both the soccer club and the San Jose Earthquake of Major League Soccer. The club's ownership group, led by investment from firm 6 Street Partners and 4 former U.S. women's national team players, was awarded the expansion franchise in April 2023. BFC is the first women's professional soccer team in the Bay Area since the San Jose Cyber Rays and FC Gold Pride, who played in previous leagues. Still on sport news, Djokovic has withdrawn from the ATP finals due to an ongoing injury. He qualified as the 6th best player of the season. Djokovic confirmed the news on social media, expressing his disappointment and apologizing to fans who were expecting to see him play. He wished all the players a great tournament and hinted that he would focus on Grand Slam event moving forward, with the Australian Open in January likely to be his next tournament. Djokovic withdrawal secures to the 8-man field for the ATP Finals in Turin, with Norway's Gaspar Ruud, Australia Alex de Minaur, and Russian Andrei Rublev clinching the final spot. They join Italy Jannik Sinner, Spain Carlos Alcaraz, Germany's Alexander Zverev, Russia's Daniil Medvedev, and American Taylor Fritz, who had already qualified. The tournament will take place from November 10 to 17th in Italy. Djokovic, who has 24 Grand Slam single titles, is now focusing on extending his career with an eye on winning a record 25th major at the Australian Open. Over to basketball, where we have that the Cleveland Cavaliers continued their perfect start to the season with a 116-114 victory over the Milwaukee Bucks, matching a franchise record by winning their first tied 8 games. Darius Garland led the way with a game-high 39 points, hitting the crucial three-pointer with 45 seconds left and assisting Jarrett Allen on a layup to seal the win. The Bucks, missing star Giannis Antetokounmpo due to injury, had been leading 106-98 with just over 6 minutes remaining, but couldn't hold on. Cleveland had also narrowly defeated the Bucks 114-113 just days earlier, thanks to a last-second basket by Donovan Mitchell. And that's your sport news on World News. Now we move to the rest of the news after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. Israeli police have arrested a soldier and government spokesperson Eli Feldstein over allegation of leaking sensitive intelligence. Feldstein is accused of sharing classified documents that contain claims about Hamas attempting to smuggle hostages out of Gaza, information that could have undermined any potential deal for their release. The leak raised serious concern regarding the security and negotiation efforts involving hostages. Feldstein's arrest has sparked controversy as it is feared that the disclosure of such information might have endangered ongoing diplomatic and military operations. The leak is especially troubling given the delicate nature of the hostage situation and the potential impact on future negotiations. The Israeli authorities are continuing their investigation into the matter, which could have significant implications for national security and the country's handling of sensitive intelligence. And that World News. But before we go, here are the headlines once again. We brought to you that President Tinubu. Here are the headlines once again. We'll take a short break to bring you the headlines once again.